Good afternoon, one and all. Welcome back to Red's Homestead. If you've been watching this channel, you know exactly what I'm sitting in right now. My arch nemesis, the wood chipper. This has been a pain to figure out this carburetor here. So what we're gonna do today is take the whole thing off and try to rebuild it in the workshop. Now, if this is your first time here, well, keep watching. And please subscribe. And if you want to see some more stuff of first-time homesteaders, check out my playlist, First Year Homestead. Now, I do want to say if you came here looking for expert advice on how to rebuild a carburetor, don't keep watching. Well, keep watching till the end, and then find something else that actually is the correct thing that you're looking for, because this is not it. I have no idea what I'm doing. But we're gonna see what happens. Welcome to Red's Homestead! So first, I think I know what the problem is. The problem is that so I have fuel. I've diagnosed many things on previous videos, but I have fuel coming to the fuel line, filling up the float chamber, but it is not spraying inside of the carburetor. The reasons I don't know the answer to, but my assumption is that after doing a lot more research, I want to say this is called the power piston. Here in the middle, I'll get a closer up view when I get this thing off, but I want to say it's stuck. And that's the main jet that sprays fuel into the carburetor. And there's no way to access that. At least I don't think. Well, actually, I might be able to just take the top off and access it. I'm going to try that first and see what I can do. So I'm doing a full video with no edits, separately from kind of my normal day-to-day thing. So here we go. You'll even get to see my trying to figure out how to do. Ooh, I found my wing nut. Hold on. I dropped this thing. I was looking for it for like 20 minutes before I hit the record button. I just saw it. This is the wing nut for the air filter. So I'm gonna put that back on here before I lose it again. Okay, so first what I'm gonna try to do, I don't wanna take it off from the base because I know this has a, I don't know what kind of adapter is here. Oh, let me see if I can get a better look here. How's that? Yeah, I guess that'll have to do. So, right here is an adapter that, here I got an idea. Let me see if I lower this a little bit. Bring that up. That's a better view. So, this is the adapter connecting to the carburetor. And sometimes there's, I don't know what he did beforehand because this looks jerry-rigged. I don't think there's supposed to be a gasket in there. I think it's supposed to just sit flush on top. So I don't want to take any of that off and risk having to try to find a gasket for a carburetor that I don't know what it is. So what I'm going to try to do is just first, what I did before is take this off, because I know that the gasket in between the top half and I guess you would call it the bottom half of the carburetor, I know those are good. That's a good gasket. And I'm wondering if I do that, can I then access this power piston from the other side of it? And I can take that into my workshop and see if I can get that unstuck and not have to remove everything. Because it's either that or it's here on the side. These are like the vacuum chambers for the accelerator pump. those are moving, the diaphragm's moving in there. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So what we're gonna do is just disconnect this fuel line here. Try to disconnect the fuel line. How did I do this last time? That's what I did. Alright. Gotta make sure that we tighten that up. Okay. And this is a model that does not have a filter up here. The filter's all the way down here in line with the gas can to the fuel pump. There's no second filter up here. So now I'm gonna go grab a Phillips head and take this top casing off and disconnect this choke. So I am gonna pause it right here to go and back into my workshop. All right, I'm back, and I always take pictures of everything that I don't know so that I know how to put it back together again. I've already done the pictures for this one, so I'm not too worried. The last screw is the one with the choke. So I should be able to just, pull it straight off. And then so this right here, so you can see, this right here is the power piston, and see how it's sticking? It's not supposed to stick. It's supposed to bounce up and down. Actually, more like that. Oh, it is kind of working now. Well, why was it stuck beforehand? There's been some gunk in there, but it seems to be moving pretty freely now. You can see what I'm doing there. So maybe if I take this jet out, it could, how's that choke held in there? I suppose I could disconnect this as well. I'm worried if I disconnect that, I'm not gonna really know how to get it back in there. So I'm gonna do it all right here. I'm gonna try to take out that main jet. It should be just a flathead screwdriver turned. You can see it. This piece right here should just be a flathead to turn. There we go. Don't know what's in there. And the seam's really clear. I'm going to get my light and see what's down in the jet. I don't know how that works. Could just go get a flashlight, but you know. So what's on the inside there, I don't know. Or how that functions. Or how to get this light to stand back up. Good there? That's good. So what I can do, at least for this jet, saw some excess wire, like this chicken wire, laying around. They say don't use chicken wire because this is brass and it could easily chip it, but I think we're at a point that I don't know if I can break it anymore. I'm just going in the middle here, seeing if there's any gunk. I mean, I didn't feel any or see any. The jet's fine. What about inside there? So I know some people, I've read that you can drill a hole here and pop that thing out. I'm just worried it's not sticking now, but who knows if it's gonna stick. I could try putting carb cleaner in there, but I mean, it's just seems to be too much needed. That's moving pretty well. So if I don't have to take that apart, I don't want to. problem I think is that it's hitting this metal lip on the top. It's not perfectly centered on it. Keeps coming back, turning. Sure, that feels fine. So, I mean, A, that could have been it. It was stuck, and now it's moving fairly freely. Or B, it could be these vacuums here. Maybe a diaphragm's broken. The gaskets look fine. But I can access those without this piece off. So let me put the jet back in. Turn. Float valve is moving properly. All right, let's reseat this and see if that was the case. Oh. Well, luckily I took a picture on how this is supposed to go back on, because it just came off. Alright, let's reseat this guy. What I might do, instead of editing, I might just put it at double speed, because surely you know how to screw things back in. Still have to set up the choke, but while I'm back here, I'm gonna go ahead and get that fuel line in there. All right, flip over to the other side and try to figure out how to get that choke back on. banged my head on that thing so many times. Okay. So this goes in there. Let me go ahead and get that screwed in. Nope. Dang it. Wrong screwdriver. Alright, it's not tightened yet until I get everything fixed in a position. Alright, so open choke. That should be a closed choke. This is getting in the way of this. Alright. Fully tightened. You got an open choke, closed choke. So if that was the only problem, was the power piston sticking, this thing should crank up. Gonna pause it again to get some gas and stuff. Alright, so we're back. I went ahead and connected up the fuel line to the portable gas tank. What I'm gonna do is pour some fuel into here. Battery should be good. I'm gonna crank it up and see if it'll refuel itself, basically. If the vacuum is working and the piston's going up and down to keep adding fuel. If it's doing that, then I can start working on, you know, if I gotta fix the idling or anything like that. So here we go. Gasoline. Oh. Right. Choke on. Set this gas down. All right. See what happens. Open up the throttle.
Promising?
Well, I mean, that's what it's been doing.
Oh.
It's gotta be, it's not giving itself gas, basically. One more time, not even putting the choke on. Maybe I will put the choke on. Doesn't sound pretty, but it's idling. Open choke. I turn the accelerator. Then it starts to die. So it's definitely something timing or something with the fuel air mixture is not where it's supposed to be. It's definitely not supposed to be steaming like that, but it ran.
It shot some stuff out.
And it shot some stuff. I threw a stick in there and it shot it out the other end. So.
I was just thinking, what if an animal's hiding there? Obviously, it would have been scared.
Oh yeah, that animal would have been blood and guts everywhere. I didn't think about that.
It would have gotten scared off a long time.
Still, so I thought that this was some kind of transmission, open, closing, which engaged the wood chipper. So I have a feeling I was trying to. Must be neutral, since it's wiggly. That's how every standard car is. And then this engages the transmission. So I wonder if I run it down there without the actual wood chipper being engaged, if that makes a difference. So, and that does worry me here. I wonder,
Smoking.
actually, it could be running hot because I didn't think about the radiator.
Oh, yeah.
I did not think about the radiator. I didn't think about the oil pressure.
I'm kind of curious. Well, no, I probably don't. I don't want to give anything away of the present I got you, and then you can look on our Amazon thing and see.
Oh.
I just don't know if it would help in this situation at all.
I don't know.
I don't think so. 'Cause
Battery.
This is yours.
So, I think now, what I just need to do is do your regular old maintenance. I'm going to give it an oil change. I'm going to flush the radiator.
Fix a flat.
We'll fix it.
Just
Yeah,
fix it.
I do need to fix the flat. I'll have to borrow Phil's truck to be able to even move it if I want to move it.
Yeah. You don't think the four-wheeler could do it?
Oh, I don't know. This thing's
Too
a
heavy.
beast. I don't think the four-wheeler could handle it. It would
Wanna
be.
break our one.
I don't want to break our God-given four-wheeler just to move this thing, but I've never had it. It must have been what I thought it was. That's the only thing I can think of.
What's that? The toolbox thing back there.
Just exactly what you think it is, a toolbox, replacement parts, spark plugs you can
This
put in
thing
there.
scares me. It scares the crap out of me.
Yeah,
It's cool. It just scares me.
I want to keep running it, but I don't want to do it without doing a maintenance on it,
Yeah, probably.
an actual full maintenance on it, because
So does it need like a new fuel line or something? Isn't that what gets fueled to it?
no, the fuel line was fine. Here, I'll explain it to you.
Okay.
So I'm doing the a unedited video. As y'all know, my wife, Miss Shannon. So I'm not doing any edits from start to finish of this one. This is gonna be its own video. And I'm glad that I actually, I think I was correct, so the video might be correct. But, so essentially the way it works, so you got your gas tank down there, right? Pulls up into this fuel filter right here, which connects up to this fuel pump. This fuel pump then runs a line all the way to the top here.
That's where you're
onto
pouring
the
gas in.
carburetor. Yep. Because the fuel, this is called, they call it a float chamber. Basically, the fuel line fills up the float chamber and it creates a vacuum seal. And the vacuum seal, there's a little thing underneath here called a power piston. It's something that goes up and down, spring action, and it's supposed to be vacuum pressure, pushes gas into the carburetor. Now, that was stuck. I made it unstuck.
All right.
And so I think, I mean, just by it running, 'cause
Yeah.
I only poured a little bit of fuel in there. It was feeding itself again, which means it'll stay constantly running on idle. Biggest problem I'm running, there's something wrong with the fuel air mixture, which would be the timing screw. I'm guessing might be, no, that's here. I gotta figure that out. Should be a timing screw somewhere, which you can adjust the fuel air mixture ratio that happens. It's got to be this right here. Yeah, so this determines how much fuel gets squirted in. So I turn that and it'll either squirt more fuel or less fuel, because it was only working on choke, which means it was getting too much air.
Mm-hmm.
So what I have to do is have it give more fuel so that it balances out.
I guess back when this was made, they didn't have labels. Like, how do you know what all this stuff is?
Trial and error. Trial and error is how I learned. And there's dozens more gauges.
The only
on
label I
this
see
thing.
is Ford.
Yeah, see the Ford on the top.
Not that I would honestly have any clue what I'm doing. I don't even know how to change my oil. I need you to do it with me.
You know, I made a YouTube video about it.
Yeah, I watched that one.
My #1 supporting fan. All right, so I'm gonna let this thing cool down because I don't want it. I'm not gonna do anything while the engine's hot, and I think I'm gonna call it a day for the carburetor, and I'm gonna call it a win.
Go fix my gate.
Well, it needs to be dry. Ready to do that.
Yeah.
All right, signing out.